Hello, Umut here. Welcome to another video. Here I have my art journal today, Moleskine sketchbook to work on it, and I printed some new designs. These are my own designs to use as collage paper. I printed them on normal printer paper, which is thin paper. I just mixed them up and changed the colors. These are my original paintings that I have on canvases, and I made them in color groups to use in my art journals as collage papers. I'm just quickly flipping through them for you to see. There is a deck of blue, there's a deck of pink, and there's a deck of gold, green, neutral colors that I showed at the very beginning. They are all available in my Etsy shop, and I'm going to leave the links down below for you to check if you wish so. They are all 8x8 pattern papers ready for you to print and use in your project. So today I'm going to leave the blue aside for another day, and I'm going to use the green neutral tones together with the pink ones to create my art journal page. You will see that these collage papers are very useful to have designs that you will never get if you play with colors. You can use them in many ways, but today I'm going to show you a couple of things. I just drew a vase on one of my papers in green tone, and I'm just drawing some simple flowers on the pink ones. These are really simple things that I am drawing with my pencil. My idea is to have my vase and then decorate it with another paper. One is green, one is pink, so they will create a nice contrast, and I will have a vase that you cannot get if you paint. So I'm just cutting it now, and I'm going to cut my leaves and the flowers. I'm not creating a lot of fussy cutting for me. They are very simple shapes that I cut in very small time, and I'm using my glue stick to glue this flower in the middle of my vase and the leaves on the corners to create a nice design with a couple of colors. But they are all textured because I use these pattern papers, so they look very interesting. Now I'm using other papers to draw some stems for my flowers. Since I have a vase, I'm going to do some flowers. You can eyeball this and cut directly. I'm just deciding the length and everything up front and show you that you can cut them drawing easily as well. After I cut all my stems, I'm now going to draw my flowers. And again, I chose a very simple shape of tulip that I am drawing here and there using another pattern paper to have a nice background, textured background, and the color variation behind all my flowers and leaves. And I have now all the other papers, and I'm just going to tear them to use on my background as well. You will see that I will get a very nice effect that is not possible with other mediums or coloring. This is just another way that I wanted to show you that you can have at the background for your designs. This is kind of like using napkins or rice papers as well. We're just having some abstract shapes and texture at the back going on to create us a nice background. And also it gives us colors to base on and work with, so we can complete the rest of the background like we do with other rice papers or napkins. These are very useful again if you are a beginner or you are having difficulty in combining colors. There are already colors ready for you to start with, and you can complete your page with the rest. I glued all my papers with matte medium, and now I'm going on them with a roller gesso. I gessoed a little bit so that they can blend at the background and into each other, and I have a little bit of whiteness as well surrounding them. I decided to use a crackle paste today. I haven't used this for a very long time. My pastes are all dried, so this is new from Golden, and I am just smooshing it here and there on my page I'm hoping it will crack soon. On the pack it says like leave long time, but I'm not that patient. I'll just wait for it to dry for probably a couple of hours, have lunch or something, and come back to it. I'm not exaggerating the thickness because afterwards I need to close this journal. So here we are after it dried. Because I didn't make it so thick, it's not such big crackles, but they are there, believe me. You will see it at the end in the pictures, and they look very nice. They give a quite nice texture, which is subtle. I decided to use my distress paints, acrylic paints, to paint my background. You will see the colors I'm using while I'm using them on the screen. I started with a very pale color, bundled sage, and I switched to another color that is more prominent, crushed olive. I decided this was a little bit too yellow, so I'm just taking forest moss to mute it down a bit. This is darker, and it will be useful to bring everything together and blend all my images all together. I don't want to cover all the texture that I created, so you will see me spraying water or bringing my baby wipe from time to time to just wipe off a little bit of the paint that I am putting on the page. Also, it helps me to blend a lot, and it kind of pushes the paint into the cracks too, so the cracks also become more visible while I'm painting it. I'm also going over the papers a little bit, and as you see in time, like I do for the napkin journals, they will all blend together and create a nice cohesive design. If you're using pattern papers at the background, don't forget to print them on thin paper, just a basic normal copy paper that we use in our printers that are quite accessible anyway. I decided to put my vase on a table for it not to hang in the air. So I cut a part of another pattern paper, and I'm just gluing it with my matte medium. And also before I stick it, I decided to color that part of the page as well. I'm using the same colors with the same methods, just putting a little bit paint, spraying a little water to spread it nicely. And finally, I'm going to bring a vintage photo to go around the edges and to darken up everything so that everything else can pop, including the designs on the pattern papers. As you see, there are some vague shapes like branches and flowers and all sorts of things on the pattern papers that are like more or less there. That's what I mean when I say like if you use pattern papers at the background, it will give a nice peak, like as if there's a design but there is not completely. So that's what I like about them. After I am finished coloring, I'm just sticking down my vase as well. And the next thing to do will be to put my flowers and the stems. It's an easy process. I'm just using my matte medium. I didn't stick the top part of the vase a lot because I'm just putting the stems inside the vase as if they are coming out of it. And now you can see that every one of my flowers have a different design. The stems have a different design. They kind of match with my vase, which looks very nice. But all of them are interesting because I just cut them from pattern papers. I'm just creating a nice bouquet of flowers. It's really a very easy process. I'm using my matte medium again, covering the flowers as well, so that I can do shading afterwards. And after I finish, I'm going to stick my vase down and close it. After I glued down my flowers, I decided that I needed a little bit purple on the other side of the page, on the colors. This will give a little bit of vibrancy, a pop of color, and it will match the flowers in the vase. So I'm using a Again, my distress paint in Dusty Concord. Using this also made all the texture more visible, separating it from all the green parts. I really like it, and I'm going to apply it on the other page as well a little bit for the sake of cohesiveness. If you don't want to use your hands for painting, you can always use a baby wipe, and you can make it a little bit dry for easy application. And now I'm going to do my shading to make everything more clear. I'm shading around the leaves and flower on my vase, so they are more visible, and also everything blends together. And I'm going to shade all around the images. I'm just using a baby wipe when it's too much, and I'm just making a little bit effort with my fingers, pushing it down because there's a lot of texture and it needs to go through that texture. I'm just using my Faber-Castell Pit Brush marker in Caput Mortuum. You can select whichever color is goes with the background of your page, and as you see, it just separates all these flowers and vase from the background. I'm using my white gel pen Uniball Signo in broad tip to do my highlights. And finally, it came to my sentiment. This is an old Kaisercraft sticker set that I have in my stash, and I use it from time to time to take some nice images and sentiments. I'm going to cut it. It's very long, but it goes with my purpose because I have whole left side of the page. To do this, I'm just going around the edges with my brown marker again, so that I don't have white edges. And although it's a sticker, I'm going over it with my matte medium to secure that it doesn't fall off later. I'm going to have darker edges, so I took a very dark color of gelato, Faber-Castell gelato, from my stash. You can use again the Faber-Castell markers, a darker paint. For example, Distress Ground Espresso is dark, or your ink, doesn't matter, just to have a little bit darker edges. And it came to my mind that Distress have this really nice vintage gold color tarnished brass. I just took it with the back of my brush to give the dots, the middles, centers of my flowers, and do a little bit of splashes on my page. This will give a little shine, but it will be dark, so merely visible to give a nice detail. And after this, you will see that I'm going to do some purple splashes with the Dusty Concord that I used on the page. Again, it unifies all the page. And I think I'm done. I hope you enjoyed this video and got new ideas and inspiration for creating your own. I hope I can show you the cracks, how nice they look, and give a really nice vintage old looking look. Again, I'm going to leave down below the links for these pattern papers if you want to have a look. I also have some real-time art journal classes in my Etsy shop, again for you to check out if you want. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, comment, or subscribe to my channel. I wish you all a great weekend. I hope you are safe, healthy and well wherever you are. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.